Hey guys, it is I. So today we shall do another review by popular request. We will do a review on the filter that replaced my BioMaster, and this is the Aquael UltraMax 1500, which I don't have here next to me because it's running on my tank. I had to part ways finally with my BioMaster 850, but alas, we must move on. I'm sure we're both gonna find somebody new, and I have already found a new filter, which we're gonna talk about today. He's not as handsome, I will say, but he can do the one thing the BioMaster never did. Shut up. So today, we're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because girlfriend, there's something we must acknowledge about this filter. Anyway, this will be a pretty positive review or first impressions because I have been running the filter for a while and I even did a little bit of maintenance on it and I'm pretty happy so far. But there are a few things that I do want to tell you about. I want to draw your attention to because you must know, right? So let's get the intro done. Actually, let's start with the price. Right, so I have purchased this filter from Olipeta for 178 euros. A little side note, I might do a separate video on this just so you understand why sometimes with these big purchases I actually purchase them online. I can actually find this filter in my country as well, but this is how much it costs. Yes, when you live in Cyprus, typically aquarium stuff are 50 to 100% more expensive, and while I support the local economy and buy as many things as I can from here, like plants and rocks and all of these things, there are some purchases which I can't. It's 100 euros difference. So as you can see, prices can actually vary from territory to territory. Last time I had somebody tell me their price for the BioMaster in Australia is about 900 Australian dollars. Yikes. So prices will always differ, obviously. But if we look at the grand scheme of things, this is more of a reasonably or affordably priced filter. Not the cheapest, but definitely not the most expensive. It's actually almost half the price of the BioMaster for similar performance. I think it's in the range of the Tetras as well, maybe the Ceras if they're still making filters. Last time I used a Cera filter was 20 years ago. Maybe JBLs. We're in that more affordable realm. Although, 178 euros, that's a lot of money, bestie. We have expectations even for this price. So yeah, price-wise, I would say it's a mid-range area. Now, what are the specs? Let me get this right. The flow rate, the maximum flow rate of this filter in liters per hour is 1,500, hence the model name, the model number. Out of my personal experience, I can tell you that it looks quite a lot more flowy than the BioMaster. The BioMaster was rated or is still rated at, depends on the source, 1,550 liters per hour. The new BioMaster version 2 is rated at 1,500 in some sources. It's a little weird. Some sources rated 50 liters per hour more. Let's just cap it and say 1,500 liters per hour as well. But visually, at least visually, it feels like the Aquael does have a more powerful flow. So flow-wise, in my experience, I would say that it's quite decent with the Aquael, and it is actually one of the things that I did hear or read about in other reviews as well. The hose dimension for this filter is 1622, and this is another reason why I chose the 1,500 rather than the 2,000, which is more powerful. I have stuff that fit in this size of a hose. The 2000 model already uses 19/25 millimeter hoses, and it just doesn't go with the accessories that I already have. It's more a little bit inconvenient for me. So I kind of YOLO'd it and got like the lower flow filter, and I don't regret it. I have a 240 liter aquarium and I'm very happy with the flow as it is. The bucket volume, okay, this is a little weird. Bucket volume is 13.5 liters, but if you look at basket capacity, it's 1.9 liters. So I'm not sure if this means you can add 13 liters of medium inside, or it's just the overall volume plus the water of the bucket. I have a suspicion that's what it is. Basket capacity, 2 liters each. I think it has, oh gosh, I forgot. You're gonna see an unboxing, but I think it has 4 baskets. I would say you would put inside maybe a little less medium than you would put in the BioMaster. Now, this filter is not as tall as the BioMaster, but it's maybe a little bit wider. This will probably be more important if you intend to use this filter in not so planted tanks or tanks where you will have more messy fish. I am of the opinion that the more plants you have, the more planted your tank is, the more, you use aqua soils and stuff, the less biological filtration you need. You rely more on the mechanical because everything in the tank will do the biological filtration. But if you're going for African cichlids or something else that cannot be in a tank decked with plants, you will need more biological filtration to have a good time. So other specs here of interest, I don't think we're very interested in all of those things. And now that I gave you the specs, let's do a bit of an unboxing so you see how the filter looks inside, and I'll come back with some more thoughts after this chapter. Right, so here's the filter. You will have the dimensions somewhere on the screen, and most importantly, look what this filter has. 2 separate connections for intake and outtake that you can also close if you so desire and remove separately. I have missed this feature on my filter with the BioMaster, so +1 for the Aquael from this point of view. Also, look what else this filter has. I was not aware. It has a prefilter, and the prefilter is a smaller cartridge which is not a tall tower like in the case of the BioMaster, which makes me not have to slide out this filter out of the cabinet. Again, works with myself so much better. Now, there is a smaller set of clips inside the bigger clips which allow you to remove the head unit of this filter. And here we go, looks like just any other filter. Side note, you can put back the head unit in whatever direction you want. You can rotate it however you want, it doesn't matter. Inside we have one basket with a more finer sponge, which I ended up using, another basket which is empty, and another one which is empty. We have some accessories, I'll get to that, I removed them earlier, and the bottom tray has a more coarse sponge. The white strings you see are from the filter floss. We're gonna get to that, I'm not gonna use that. So putting it back, I am going to maintain, let's say, the order of things. In order to close the filter, we must first close the small clips and then the big clips. Everything seems very sturdy in my opinion. Then we have the priming button, which, look at that, I don't have to press with my entire body weight on it because it's not at the top, it's more of a horizontal-ish lever. I had no issue with it, and at the bottom we actually have a tray. This filter comes with a tray to catch droplets of water. I still put it in a bucket because I'm afraid of leaking. Let's look at the accessories. This filter comes of course with an intake and outtake, that sounds funny, some filter floss that looks like cotton, we're not going to use that, some biological filtration, some ceramic rings actually that do not look half bad, and I ended up using some, as you will see. But yeah, this filter floss, I've never seen one like this. It really looks like cotton. I never actually use filter floss, so I ended up not using it. It's up to you to see if you want to use it, but the ceramic rings actually look good. Also has rounded pipe work, let's call it like that. And now let's get to the intake and stuff. Goodness, I'm gonna get to it a little bit more in the video. It's not my thing quite at all. It's not that pretty, let's say, which will be the ugly in the title of this video. Yes, you can make it shorter or longer, but yeah, we'll talk more about it in the video. It's not my thing. I do appreciate that it comes also with some silicone lubricant. It's important to maintain the gaskets lubricated. Also some suction cups and of course the hoses. Now the hoses are a 1622 millimeter diameter, but they're so rigid. They're sturdy, but a little bit more rigid than I would like. Definitely, I would not advise you to use these without heating them in a cup of hot water. It will make such a difference. I could not insert them in anything, any of my accessories, anything, or even like the nozzles of the filter without making them more malleable in hot water. So here I am adding the biomedia. I rinsed the ceramic rings. They did have a lot of dust, as will porous materials. And you know what? They saved me quite a bit of money because I had Seachem Matrix, but I didn't have enough to fill the baskets. So I used 2 bags of these bio rings, and you know what? I have a planted tank. These rings look good. I should be fine. So at the bottom, I have the coarse sponge. 2 baskets will be biomedia, and the final basket will be that less porous sponge, which will polish the water, and I'm good. And here I am priming the filter. I had absolutely no issue priming this filter. It wasn't hard to action the lever, and here comes the most mind-wrecking weight of all. Will it leak? I was so confident it won't. I didn't even put a bucket underneath, but bestie, it leaks. Oh my goodness, it leaks. I could have shut it down from the little levers it has, but like in the moment, I just removed the intake from the water. What the problem was, the gasket was not sitting properly on the pre-filter. And that is the thing you might see in other reviews as well. And I will talk a little bit more about it right now. Alrighty, so that's how the filter looks inside. As you saw, we had a little bit of drama, and this is something I do want to point out. In my research of this filter, I did see quite a number of people, more than you'd expect, saying be careful with the gaskets and everything because it can leak if they don't sit properly. And I did check like the main head unit gasket like a million times because I'm so freaked out by leaks. Oh my gosh. I checked it a million times. Everything was okay, but I did not check the pre-filter gasket. And that's the one that was not sitting right. I cannot tell you if it came like that, factory, or just by me opening it up and checking it out, I made that gasket fall or not sit into place. But I will issue a warning with peace and love to everybody who wants to use this filter whenever you maintain it. Check those gaskets, bestie, because oh my goodness, if I experienced it and there are other people pointing it out, it's a problem with this filter. The gaskets either like fall easily out of place, rubber rings, the seals, gaskets. I feel like my English is taking a break. It's going on vacation a little bit right now. Check the seals. Check them every time you handle this filter just to be safe because it appears to be a weakness and we don't want our aquarium juices in our living room. So yeah, I spotted it immediately and I placed the ring where it should be, and then it made a very, very good seal actually. As I was saying, I already maintained the pre-filter, and there is a catch in maintaining it, which I will film separately. You have to first shut down one of the intake, and then 3 seconds after or so shut down the outtake and then remove it from the plug, just so you eliminate the water from the pre-filter. I did that. I was afraid of leaking because with the BioMaster I always had leaking since it didn't really fit in my cabinet and I had to move it forward and tilt it to make the tower of pre-filter, like make it out of the stand, and I always had leaking. I had no leaking in maintaining the pre-filter. So I'll insert me maintaining the pre-filter again, even though I already did. It's gonna be clean, but here it is. Okay, so let me demonstrate how to clean the pre-filter. Right now the filter is running. As we can see, we have movement at the top of the water. So what we need to do is first shut down the intake. 1, 2, 3. Shut down the outtake and disconnect it from the plug. Alrighty, it is disconnected. Let me show you. The filter is not running. The noise you hear on the background is actually my washing machine in the kitchen. Right, so what we need to do, first and foremost, we will unlatch the front big latch. Do not touch the small ones. The small ones we always unlatch if we want to remove the head unit. Unlatch the one from the side and the one from this side as well. And now we must open the compartment. It will have some pressure. You're not gonna be able to open this with one finger. No, don't worry. There is some pressure here. Oops, there we go. There it is. And here is the compartment. It is full of water. I suggest you get a bucket or something to put it in, right? So we're gonna maintain it. Let's say we maintain it, right? There's no more water in this compartment. Well, it's not incredibly dirty. It doesn't really need cleaning. I actually cleaned it 1 week ago. So let's say you maintain it. You wash the sponge and everything. You don't have any more water in this container. we put it back. If I'm gonna turn on the filter now, probably it's not gonna self-prime because there is a big air pocket here. It's like a gulp of air, and I'll explain it more further on in the video. I think it's important to fill it up with water. So fill it up at the sink, or here I see nothing. But yeah, fill it up with water. Need more. Before we close the filters, we're gonna check the seal. Now, when I say check the seal, I don't mean get your magnifying glass and stethoscope and give it a full health checkup. No, just take a little look-see. Does it sit correctly? It does. Good. Close it. The first time that it leaked, this seal was hanging up here or down here, so it was very obvious when I opened it what the problem was. Now it looks good. Close it up. What we're gonna do is close the big latches. Close the latches. 1 and 2. And let's turn on the filter. I have a button on my plug, so I can do it like that. Oh shoot, I'm dumb. Open it up. Oh, I was wondering why it's not working. Okay, it's open now. Sorry. It's the second time I'm doing this. I'm gonna get the hang of it. There we are. We're gonna purge a little bit of air. Can we hear? Yeah, that's air being purged. That's fine. It's gonna go away. Let's look at the tank. Is it working? It's working. There we go. Everything is okay. So in a few minutes, this thing will purge as much air as it needs and it will become silent once more. Right, one more thing that I like to point out. You also have a little message here. If you want to adjust the flow, maybe it's too flowy for your liking, you're gonna do it by actioning the outflow lever, and you have some gradation here. This little note tells you not to adjust flow from the intake. You can adjust it by moving this lever. It says so in the instructions, and you also have a sticker on the filter, so you should be good to go. As you see, I'm still under the influence of fear. I have my water sensor there, just in case. I have my little bucket there. I will at some point probably remove it. Even inside the bucket, do we see there's no vibration, there's nothing. Some people said, oh, your BioMaster was vibrating because of the bucket. Bestie, I added the bucket after I got tired of the dripping, because the problem is it dripped right at the seam of the stand, and this is particle board. This swells if I leave water, and every time it was dripping here, I was wiping it, but already, do we see? It's already a little bit swollen here, so that's why at some point I added the little bucket with the BioMaster, but I can assure you, the humming and the noise was there with or without the bucket. And this guy is running in the bucket, and there's no noise. Yay. One thing in maintaining the filter that I want to address, let me just formulate the idea in my mind because it's all over the place and it's a complicated idea. So, in my research, I noticed people having issues repriming the filter after maintaining the pre-filter. So they didn't remove the water inside the bucket, the main bucket and everything. They just removed and cleaned the filter, the pre-filter, and obviously there was no water in the pre-filter area. That pocket of air actually can impair the rotor, and it will not spin, or it will, but it will not actually draw in any water. So people will have some issues repriming the filter, and then the maneuver with the thing will not work because you don't have the flow, the suction of the flow, because the filter is full, so there's no suction. So people have issues repriming this filter when they clean the pre-filter. What I did, I read about it, and what I did from the get-go, and it worked beautifully, is after I cleaned the sponge, I put it back in the little cartridge and I filled it with water. Now, the little cartridge has a little valve that doesn't actually let the water leak way too much. Get a towel under it if you want to go from the sink to the aquarium. But anyway, fill that little cartridge that you hold, fill it with water, just so you eliminate that big air pocket that can cause issues and can make your filter just run on empty and not draw water quite at all. I did that, had no issue. The filter reprimed itself. Now, when we remove all of the water from the bucket, or a good amount of water, when we action the little lever to prime the filter, it's gonna rely on the suction of the water going in itself and then going out. If the bucket is full of water, there's no suction. But if it's empty, the water going in will create enough suction to actually prime the filter. I had no issues when I primed the filter for the first time, but if you have issues repriming it, do what I did, see if it works, hope it works out. Please let me know how it goes. Leave me your comments in the comment section so we do like a full review of the filter, because I cannot really encounter all the problems, I guess. Let me know your problems and how you fix them and so on, so we can all learn. So if you're watching this video, check the comments as well, see what the people are saying, get some more opinions and reviews and stuff. And to end the area of good and bad, these were like the highlights that I would discuss about. To end this area, I will say that yes, this filter is not noisy, not at all. Nobody hears it in my living room. I am living the life right now. Alrighty, so let's do a bit of a sound test with the Aquael. And I'll do you one better. Let's put the footage with the Aquael and the BioMaster side by side and see a little bit of a difference in sound. Is the BioMaster on? And there we have it. There is no sound being propagated from one corner to the other. Weirdly, there's no, I think it was a bassy sound that the BioMaster was doing. I don't know. It does, like, you can hear it if you put your ear next to it. Of course you can hear it, but that's not how I'm watching Silo. Did you see the first episode? Girl, I love that show. Do you love it too? If you didn't watch it, you have Apple TV, watch it. You're welcome. Right, so I'm not gonna watch Silo with my ear next to the filter. Right, I'm gonna close the cabinet, I'm gonna sit on my couch, the filter is 2 meters away, and I don't hear a thing. And my husband approves as well. So yeah, with the BioMaster, the issue was so bad, and especially depending where you were sitting in the room, the sound was propagating so bad. It was like, and it wasn't worth it to like adjust the stand and put soundproofing and then, you know, drilling a hole for the hoses, and then when I need to maintain the hoses, you know, getting them through. No, I'm not about that life. I got the Aquael, I'm happy, even though he has a very big flaw. And you might wonder, what are these next to me? Well, bestie, these are the fittings it comes with. And I won't be lying to you, they're a little cursed. What are these? Right. So I get it that they wanted to make it adjustable. I get it. But it's very precariously made. And this, you know what this reminds me of? You know those things you put in the drain to catch the hair that are a little jagged on the sides? Can we see the resemblance? I fear that if you have this pipe behind some Rotella rotundifolia or vallisneria, I'm afraid when you get it out, I think you're gonna snag on those plants and like pull a bit of them out as well. Also, the intake. Is it just me? It's not pretty. It's humongous. And also the spaces in between these bars, they are very exciting. I don't like to have anxiety over this, because in the tank I have some fish that are not only small but also slender. They're very delicate fish, and I feel like they can be sucked up easily through this. Also, the worst of all, the way this fits here, if I do this right now, I'm gonna break the window behind, because this does not sit here. You will see I have some residue of duct tape here. I tried to make it like more tight fitting, and I tried to use it as a mechanism to change the water in my tank. It did not work out. No, the pressure just, oh yeah, these are not very tight fitting either. No, bestie, no, we can do better. I get it, maybe they tried to cut some costs, but no. And you know what? There are other brands that are affordable that do it better. For example, Tetra. I'm gonna show you some Tetra fittings right now. They are much better looking, they take up less space, they are also adjustable. It's just a different concept. I'm much more of a fan of those than I am of these. Also the spray bar, same situation, you know, this is how you mount it together. I mean, if you like the design somehow, I don't. Now, of course, you can get yourself other types of fittings, and probably if you like that clean look, you will go for the glass fittings, which are very beautiful. I personally have a little bit of a PTSD with those since one broke in my hand. I'm a little wary of using them. I should get over it because they are really pretty, but I don't like the frequent maintenance you have to make on them. If you see the tiniest bit of browning on them, it looks horrible and you have to clean it every week. I'm not really about that life right now, so I am actually still using these dark colored fittings. My aquarium background is dark as well. Currently, I stole the fittings from the BioMaster because they just look pretty. I'm sorry, but they are much prettier than this. And, you know, I'm doing fine, but it would be nice to actually be able to use safely the fittings that the filters come with, right? And I'm not a fan of these. I don't know. How are you feeling about these things? Let me know. Right, so I think that is about it. How do you feel about this filter? Do you use it? Is it noisy for you? How are we with quality control? Do we know her? We love quality control. She's the queen. How many of you have a silent filter? How many of you have a noisy filter? How many of you like the fittings? Anyway, whatever you want to add to this video, please put it down below in a comment so we can all learn more, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for participating and for watching this video. And with that said, yeah, we'll be doing a few more reviews very soon, and we'll also be doing, probably next video will be how I put together or how I scaped my current tank. I'm very happy with it. I made it a little different. I did a different approach, you're gonna see. So yeah, stay tuned for the next videos. And with that said, I will also be sure to make another review. I feel like I wasn't supposed to hear that. I feel like I eavesdropped. Right, I'll come back with a review after use, you know, after more months have passed, and I will put it in a pinned comment. If you don't see it, it's because I didn't do it yet. I'll make sure to do another review on this guy after like 1 year of use. I'm gonna poke an eyeball with this. And let's just end it here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye! Doing the thumbnail for this is quite interesting. Poses. I can't do poses.